across this town center, like through the shopping center, and the police would be chasing me and me too. I'd be running. Like, it was wild. So they were like, we can either, cuff you or you can walk with us. I said, that's cool. Let's all walk together. I just wanted to be consistent. I didn't want to have highs and lows and highs and lows. But what I realized was in the process of getting closer to God and being more consistent, there were certain things about myself. Like, God just crazy amounts of vulnerability, things that before I would have been like, ew. I want it to be like all about Niiella because of who I am. And I wanted him to see as well that when it comes to anything that's to do with him, like I'll show out.
Full support you.
Yes, I'll go all out.
Welcome to
Marriage Pentacles, Chats from the Peak,
where God's favorites link up.
My name is Dr. Lara.
And I'm Emmy.
And we have a special guest. Woo! Y'all, we just keep giving y'all guest after guest after guest.
We working this year. We
working.
Yeah.
We have the talented, the beautiful, the hilarious Niiella.
Let me also woo.
Can you hype yourself, please?
Good job for wooing.
Please.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Of course. Thank you for accepting our invitation. You're such a blessing. So, Chats from the Peak, we talk about all things marriage, healthy relationships, and everything in between. And we do it from a cultural lens, a clinical lens, and a little bit of life experience. So, today, we're really talking about the concept of preparing for marriage. Is it even possible? Is it possible to prepare for marriage? I mean, some people say yes, some people say no. And so if so, what does that look like? And, when we were thinking about who we could get on the podcast that was going to say yes immediately, Niiella, first of all, she was like, what y'all trying to talk about? She just said it at first.
This is a genuine question.
Which is fair. Which is fair. But I think that her story really, to me, I think embodies what a lot of our viewers sometimes are looking for, because I think that when you think about marriage, you kind of think about falling in love, having a long engagement, having a wedding, do all of the things. And sometimes it doesn't look like that. And so just kind of getting into that process about your preparation to where you are now.
Right. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I prepared for marriage.
Don't answer the question yet.
We're going to come back to that.
Got a whole bunch of stuff that we got to do.
Yeah, we want you to go into yourself. Give us your bio.
Yeah, give us your bio.
Tell us about yourself.
Okay.
People need to know who you are.
Yes.
Okay, the ones that don't know.
Okay, so I am a gospel singer, vocal coach, songwriter.
Now.
Where are you from?
I'm Ghanaian predominantly and quarter Nigerian. I like to throw that sprinkle of
that one grandparent came through.
Yes, literally on my dad's side. One of them is Nigerian. And I grew up in the UK for the most part, but I also
we are UK girls. People don't know that we.
Innit girls, through and through.
Innit girls.
We are innit girls.
We love the UK. Yeah, we love the girls.
That's so hilarious.
I told you that's going to be embarrassing, but it's okay. We did it once.
Yeah, so grew up in the UK. But then I also kind of grew up in Ghana as well, because my mom took us to Ghana. The first time I went to Ghana, I was 10. I was there for about 2.5 years, went to school, came back, went to school in the UK. I was homeschooled, by the way. Then went to Ghana. Went to school for the first time, which was a wild experience, because how can my first experience of school be in Africa?
It's like a triple culture shock.
Exactly. It was very, very wild. And then came back to the UK, continued school, and then dropped out of college, which is like high school.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the equivalent of high school. No? Yes, that's A-levels. There was a lot of things that happened around that. Listen, the story is very wild. But we'll skip over that one today. And then went back to Ghana when I was 18, involuntarily, because I got shipped back by my mom.
Can we pause for that?
Sure, of course.
Okay. So for those of you who know, right, whenever it could be because you're naughty. It could be because you're you don't know the culture.
Why you get your back?
But that's what we're doing. My dad wanted me to learn the culture. I was a straight A student.
They took you back to learn the culture.
Don't do that.
Let's try to understand
why. Well done. Okay. First of all,
I know you're not about to
I went to Nigeria for a story we are not going to get into, but it had nothing to do with my
behavior. You weren't a bad girl.
It was a learning experience.
It was a learning experience. My dad was like, "You guys need to learn the culture."
Good.
Yes, right. However, that typically happens around like 7 to like 15.
That part.
She said 18.
Yeah,
so I just felt like we needed to say that. I just felt like we needed to bring that up here.
Yeah.
But continue. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
And then ended up starting the whole music thing in Ghana.
Don't say thing. But okay.
During my shipments. You know, I got to the point where I actually, first I hated it, of course. And then ended up liking Ghana because I felt like that's where I actually found purpose for real. That's where I started doing the music. That's where I I believe that I discovered my purpose, and so it gave me a reason to be there. And so eventually officially moved back to the UK in 2018. Okay. But then I went to Ghana in 2009 or something. So almost 10 years of, being in Ghana. Okay. And then, I guess once things were settled and they weren't afraid that I was going to run away or anything, I was allowed to come back to the UK. Between Ghana and the UK, ended up loving Ghana and didn't even want to see the UK.
Wow. Wait, so what was the event that made them send you back?
No.
Oh, okay, we're not gonna go there.
It's just, I can give you a summary. No. No, it's just we don't have time. We came to speak about marriage. We have time for that.
No, it's crazy.
Long story short, like I was dating this one guy in my church, that went left. I started like doing terrible at school. But there's actually reasons why I feel it's not all my fault. Anyway, and then I got arrested for shoplifting.
Okay.
I feel like that was the nail.
That was like
into
pack your bags.
Yeah. But
I get it.
Like I said, long
story.
Yeah.
You've been redeemed.
But even when the police arrested me, they said, "Why are you here? You look like a nice girl."
I am a nice girl, actually.
Why you don't have record? You know? Why are you here? Yeah. And I even walked with them like to the car, like calmly. Because I was like, I'm not running across this town center, like through the shopping center, and the police would be chasing me, and me too, I'd be running. Like, it was wild. So they were like, we can either, cuff you or you can walk with us. I said, that's cool. Let's all walk together. So we all walked to the car calmly. They locked me in the cell for a couple of hours. It felt like 3 weeks. And then they let me out. I went home. Yeah.
They locked me in the cell for a couple hours, no big deal.
Yeah.
And then
I went home.
and then you went home. And then you went home.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went home by myself.
Oh,
no one knew where I was.
Yo, you must have been a really nice girl for them to give you an option of cuff or not. Like, wow, okay.
Yeah, because there was no resistance.
Yeah,
I was just sitting there, and they were like, okay, well.
Why did you do what you did?
How did we get here, right?
No, literally, how did we get here?
Yeah, so long story short, glory to God, I gave my life to Christ several times.
And that's okay. And that's okay.
Yeah, listen,
as
a pastor, I'm a pastor's kid.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like as a pastor's kid, you grow up in church, you become desensitized sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you have to find God for yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, so the music definitely was like the thing that kept me grounded. Even when I started doing the music, I wasn't even sure like what my relationship with God was. We were just figuring it out along the way. And, because I was willing and I was honest about my journey. Like if I was doing something stupid, I'd just tell God, "Hey, look, I'm being an idiot.
Help
and he would every single time. And now we're here.
Now we're here.
I mean, there's been a lot of stuff.
We made it.
When people ask me about my bio, I'm just like,
you were struggling a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely struggling. But yes, I've done a lot of music stuff.
Yeah.
You were on Sunday's Best.
Just type my name somewhere.
Lara told us you were on Sunday's Best.
Yes, I was on Sunday Best. Yes.
Sunday's Best.
Yes.
Tell us what was that like?
It was a very interesting experience. If anything, it kind of confirmed to me that I should continue to walk in my uniqueness. That's what I got out of that.
I love that
competition, and that's what I got out of that experience. Because even that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
Oh, praise God.
Praise the Lord. Father, you are good. I love that. I think that first of all, outside of your personality, I think there's a story that's to be told. If it's not even just the music part, it's the walk, right? It's not linear. I feel like you said being a PK, I'm sure there's even pressure, right? Like you're expected to be perfect. You're expected to probably know God and things like that. But there's pressure. Knowing God for yourself is a unique personal relationship. And I think that, just being able to navigate that, I think, is healthy, and honest. So yeah, that was good. So all the things about Niiella, we're still going to link her bio. So if you want to read more about her, we're going to tag all of her places that you can find her and things like that to learn more about her. But that was a brief, I think, funny and nice intro. So we have an icebreaker for you. Real, it's not hard. It's not hard. We have some conversation cards. So Marriage Pinnacle, that's one of our products, is trying to promote healthy relationships through conversation. And we do that. We have a deck for dating and engaged, and we have a deck for married. So I'm gonna have you answer a married question.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Read it out loud.
The face.
I mean, how much sacrifice is too much sacrifice, and why? This is like such a broad question.
I mean, you would be saying it too, not technically.
Wait, but I would be asking him this question, so he'd be answering it to me.
Low key, but now pretend he read it to you.
Okay. Okay, how much sacrifice is too much sacrifice? I guess the first thing that comes to mind is, I guess, how much of my self is too much to sacrifice in a marriage, right? So if it's like I'm coming into a marriage and I'm having to, something that's actually happened in the past before is like sometimes in the dating stage, like some people would kind of make me feel like I was too much. So then even if I didn't agree with it, because I liked them, I would find myself sort of adjusting to fit them a little bit. But then it got to a point where I was like, it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Right? And it's quite exhausting.
It is.
Even when like it's happening so like subtly that you're not really realizing that it's happening. So I feel like too much sacrifice is where I disappear.
That's good. I love that.
And why? Well, because God made me this way. I cannot disappear.
Period. So it's not permanent.
Yeah.
Period.
So I guess
temporary.
that's how I answer that basically.
No, absolutely.
Great answer.
Oh, again?
Yes, again.
How do you define home? As somebody who has moved a lot, I would define home as a place where I feel safe, I feel comfortable, and I would definitely define home as people that make me feel safe and people that make me feel that like I'm in a comfortable space and I can be myself.
So people over a place.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, man. You can put me on anywhere. You can ship me to Ghana.
Again.
Hey, you'll be fine. Hey, right. Hey, you'll be fine.
Oh, again? No. Oh, not again. She said again.
Oh, not again. Okay.
No, please.
Okay. We had a question for her. You want to read the question?
Okay, yeah. It's you kind of already started it earlier, but it's like, is it a fact or myth that someone can actually get ready or be prepared for marriage? Because people talk about, oh, you need to get yourself ready, but do you feel like that's something that you can actually is prepared?
I would say yes, in the sense that if I'm looking at my personal journey, the whole aim of what I was doing at the time was not necessarily to get married. You know, if it was, I'd gotten to the point where it was like, if I get married, cool. If I don't get married, cool. I'm okay. You know? But I would say prepare in the sense that I went on this journey of just wanting to be closer to God, wanting to be more consistent with my prayer and reading my Bible. Like that Bible plan, I think I started like 3 times. I didn't think I got past Genesis 3. You know? So I just wanted to be consistent. I didn't want to have highs and lows and highs and lows. But what I realized was in the process of getting closer to God and being more consistent, there were certain things about myself, like God just crazy amounts of vulnerability, you know, things that before I would have been like, ew, you know. But now looking back, I realized that all of those things I needed to be in a relationship, because you can't be in a marriage and not be vulnerable. You can't be in a marriage and not be like more considerate. You can't be in a marriage and not be consistent with certain like patterns, routines. So all of that was basically shaping my character. So I think in the preparation, like instead of just hyper focusing on I'm preparing for marriage, I think getting closer to God is the better way to just prepare for life.
In general,
And all the
everything.
things, because some of the things that, like, the way it happened so quickly. Even the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm pregnant, like, I didn't prep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we was gonna ask all of that.
Like I needed. Thank you very much. I needed to be in a particular place. God needed me to be in a space, because even once we started dating, there were certain things that happened in my mind that I feel like if I hadn't been on that obedience journey with God, I would have just been like, you know what? Actually, let's just.
This might not work.
Let's just. Maybe I'm just gonna be single. You know, maybe I didn't really know what I was asking for. You know, but me even saying yes and ending up married, I believe, was also part of my obedience to God and to what He's called me to. So
that's good. Okay, so I know the song, but I know that you have a song called "I Want You."
Oh yeah, you're gonna ask me to sing?
Not.
Oh, that would be nice.
I've not.
She's no. Leave her. Okay, she don't gotta sing. But she have a song called "I Want You," and for people who've seen the music video, they know it's like really like a culmination of you and your wedding. I mean, you and your wedding and your journey with Nana.
Yeah.
And so, can you tell us a little bit about that? So you talked about a little bit how quick it was and things like that. Can you tell us about your love story?
Okay, so it's funny. I actually posted this on YouTube. We actually did a how we met video. So if anyone wants to go and sit down and be watching that,
we'll link it. So whatever you want to give us here, but you can give us like just an overview.
So I think one of the things I would definitely say is that he was in my friendship circles for a while.
Really?
I just didn't see him.
That's usually how it is.
I didn't see him. I didn't notice him. I knew who he was.
Yeah.
But it was just like a, hey, cool. Like, if I see him, like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But then, and it's funny because during the pandemic, he actually booked a vocal lesson with me. I have no recollection of this, guys. I don't remember what he was wearing.
Wait, you guys had the session?
Yeah. It was virtual. I was in the UK and he was in America, and he booked the session because he kept losing his voice and whatever.
Sure he did. Lies, I don't believe it.
Trying to find that seed.
That's so funny.
Let me plant that seed.
I mean, I don't think
so
even
you guys weren't strangers.
No,
okay.
No, we were not strangers.
Okay.
But I don't think even he would have thought to him, like, at that time.
Yeah.
Both of us were oblivious. Like, so he booked a vocal session with me. I can't remember what year that was, but in 2023, I went to go sing at this one event in Ohio, and he was there, and we have a picture together 1 year before. Don't remember that either. People just come and say, hey, take a picture. I was just smiling. So we have a picture together. And then almost a year later from then, I went to a wedding. There was a guy that helped me sell like a whole bunch of merch when I went to the concert in 2023. And then he was so helpful. He was like, I'm getting married and I would love you to sing my fiance down the aisle. So because of how this guy had sold a whole suitcase,
I know that's right.
He went above and beyond. He didn't let anybody leave. So they bought one of those, hoodies and sweatshirts. So a year later, he was like, I want you to come. And I said, I'm going to make this work. However we make this work, forget about the honorary, whatever. Yeah. Just take tickets. I'll show up. Don't worry about it, So he was like, okay. So I went for the wedding. And when I went for the wedding, there's other things that happened in between, but he was part of the groomsmen. So he was one of the people that I knew in the so we didn't even speak that day. We didn't speak at the trad. We didn't speak at the white wedding. But the moment where they're dancing in, like when they're dancing together, one bridesmaid, one groomsman, and we had crazy Azonto warriors going wild.
Oh my God, I wish I could have saw that.
And then we have Nana come along. And he's just doing like a little, And I don't know what it was, but I was just like, this guy looks like he could do more. But like, this is all we're going to get.
This is all you're getting
because
today.
he's just too chill
and
to give us any more.
And you like that.
And I don't know why. In that moment, it was like,
I like that.
That calm one in the back. Yeah.
That's a bit of me.
Something just happened and it was like, I was like, wait, hold on a minute. Like, this one has always been around. He seems pretty chill. He seems calm. And I just want to say also that he had a bit of a glow up since the year before.
Not
because
too much.
I'd been going crazy in the gym,
Was this during pandemic or around? It was after pandemic because every
2023.
2023. Never mind.
Wait, the wedding?
Yeah,
the wedding was 2023. Yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
when we taken that picture before, it was like 2022. You know, but yeah. So I guess maybe that was also him prepping. Maybe God prompted him to go to the gym because said this girl, if you go
likes
like
muscles.
this, if you go like this, she will say no. You know. So yeah. So we didn't speak. I went back to the UK, but then I was thinking to myself, like, how do I like speak to him? How do I kind of get like an opening? And he posted something about tennis, Coco Gauff or whatever. I was like, oh, you watch tennis? I don't watch tennis.
Okay.
I don't watch tennis.
You needed a man. Shoot your shot.
And he was like, oh yeah, and everything. And he's so nice. He was just responding, talking. That's when I realized this guy's been texting me steadily for years.
No.
Yeah, he would respond to my videos. He'd repost if I sang something that he liked. He would, he'd be like, "This is so great! Like, God bless you."
So he was in your corner
that kind
for
of
the
thing.
whole
I'd be
time.
responding with emoji.
You see, she does the.
Oh, Gen Z.
the other-
I
the
do
Gen
all of
Z.
them. I
know, but you
literally,
do it so
and-
naturally.
Yeah, I don't know how to
You
do
try to
that.
teach me, and I
Oh yeah.
remember. It's fine.
Auntie Lara.
But yeah, so we started speaking from then. I was in the UK now, so it was lots of texts, and then from there we went to voice notes. From voice notes, we went to FaceTime calls. But the whole time I needed
Natural
to find
progression.
out if he was single, so I had to find a way to
All the
slip
time
it.
y'all went
Better have been single.
No,
FaceTime
wait,
calls.
nah.
Okay.
No, that was before the FaceTime.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I was like, I wasn't about to waste my time. Yeah. So texting, I think when we started voice noting, that's when I was like, I need to find out if this guy is single.
Okay.
Because if he's not, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
this is pointless. And so I found we were talking about temperaments and the conversation that I'd had with some girls and guys and how the girls were saying they'd rather, they will never shoot their shots. Guys have to be the ones to be forward. And I was just saying, you have to
Close mouths don't
give
get
them,
fed, dog.
you have to give them something to work with, man. So that's what I was saying. And the girls were like, nah. The boys were like, but how are we supposed to know?
How are we supposed to know?
So that was a whole thing. And then off of that, I was like, oh, but speaking of like, relationships and directness and, all that stuff. No, I was like, do you have a special someone? And he was like, oh no, he just come out of a relationship a couple months ago. So I was like, oh yeah, seeing as I'm single too.
Period. Let's make it clear.
I threw that in there somehow.
I know that's right.
And I was
for
talking
you.
about like, I personally like people to be direct. Like off of that conversation that the girls were having, I was like, wouldn't you want to know if somebody likes you or not instead of hanging around 3 months, 2 months, 6 months?
Wasting your time.
And you guys are sort of flirting with each other, but no one is saying anything. That God forbid you go and say, okay, like, do you like me? The person will say, when did I give you? I think it's
Like
so
me.
That's very painful. When did I tell? I didn't say that. I never said that. And then now you're there like, yeah, but when you called me at 3 a.m. Right. That kind of thing. So I'd thrown that in there that like I like directness. Don't waste time. Even if we start talking in 2 weeks, you're like, yeah, this ain't it. Just tell me.
Just tell me.
I'm a big girl. I can take it.
I can take it.
So I said all of that, and then he was like, once we established that we were both single, he was now like, okay, well, in light of you being single, I would like to get to know you.
Yeah.
And in the middle, his courage failed.
Wait.
I just saw this and then
Yeah, when he was sending the voice note, he started off strong. He said, in light of you being, and then his voice started to he was like, yeah, just in
Yo, and Nana's here in the back cracking up. Nana, don't let her do you like this.
It's a true story, So one thing that I did a lot of was if I saw that he was nervous about something, or I'm very direct, as we can see, I will use jokes to say anything.
Yeah.
Right? So I realized that I was like, I kind of went out of my way to be even extra. I'll tell him you can say anything. Don't worry about it. I'm listening. I'm that kind of thing. So I was very encouraging. Just be like, get it out. I can already tell what you want to say, but I want you to say it. That kind of thing. So there was a lot of that.
I love that.
Even constantly throughout the relationship. Sometimes I'd see him hesitate about something and I'm like, no, don't do that.
Just say it.
Because I'm going to be all I am in my fullness.
Take it. I want you to bring yours.
yourself.
Bring yours.
So that's how we started. And once we even started, we already knew, we'd already started talking. If this is what we're gonna do, it's leading to marriage. So there was no I'm not sure if he wants to marry me. There was none of
you knew.
Yeah, we knew, but we had to at least get to know each other.
Of course.
And I told him, if at any point you feel intimidated by my character, you feel like because of who I am and what I do and the music and all that stuff, like you see me as, I'm like, we can't be together.
Yeah.
Because we have to be two regular people. And I say this all the time. We're going home to fry egg and scrub toilets. We have to be regular human beings. My award that I won is not going to do anything in those moments where we're being regular humans. And so, that's how it all, it started, it came together. And
did you feel like you had to give that disclaimer because you didn't know if he was a fan, or like, did you kind of have to be sure?
I think just because of past experiences.
Got you.
Like, people who, and it's true, he'd steadily been following me.
Yeah, right.
So there was a part of me that was like, I hope you're not like, by me.
Right.
But he, at no point, he didn't show me that at all, and I feel like his character's so unassuming. Yeah. Like, I just kept learning things. Because at one point, so I was like, oh, man, am I going to be bored?
Well, you have to think about that,
But, I mean, he would just say things saying, I was in the military. I said, oh, for real? Strong boy. So you know structure.
And the other is crazy.
Strong guy.
It's crazy.
I just kept learning things about him. And, like, he was very funny, quirky, just interesting. But, like, you wouldn't look at him and think he has all these layers to him. So I was like, I was like, oh God, you did well.
You know more than us, that's for sure.
Very opposite to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, like, I feel like we complement each other very, very, very well. Yeah. So everything kind of happened we started officially dating.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us the timeline.
We officially started dating in October. October, he's the dates guy. So if he nod his head, I say, yes, correct. So in October. And then we went to Ghana in June, and we basically did the engagement, the traditional, and the private wedding all happened
to
June. And then we got back and we did the white wedding, for the song and the video and all that stuff. Well, he didn't know I was recording the song the whole time.
Oh, really?
No.
Surprise.
I'm literally miming behind his head, and he was just happy to be there. I was. Because I'm looking in the camera.
Didn't know that.
No.
That is insane.
Because literally, it looks like you're shooting a music video.
Yeah, we did.
No, you did.
I knew.
No. He did not.
No, he didn't. And at some point, I thought maybe he's suspecting that. No, but he was just happy. He was just so happy.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
One of my friends was in the back, like miming the song, like.
So was it like a surprise for him?
Yes. Yeah. So when we went on the honeymoon, I was like, I have something to show you.
Beautiful.
No, I said we have the first edit of the wedding that we can watch, so let's watch it together. And then he was like, wait. He was like, wait, what? You're singing? Why are you singing? Oh my God.
No, I love that. I thought
that is so creative.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
So
sorry.
That's my one chance to be mushy. It doesn't happen a lot.
Oh, Niiella, please do not kill me.
Good
no.
job.
Oh my gosh. That is such a beautiful story. Okay, so October to June, wedding was in August. So no.
Well, yes.
They were married in June.
Yeah, they were already married
in June.
Married in June.
And then white wedding in August. Yeah.
That's so less than a year, right? So now my question to you is, so you talked about like, yes, we knew we were going to get married based on just like our intentionality.
Yeah.
But did you think it was going to happen like that?
Oh, no.
I mean, like the timeline is not timeline, but the duration like that. Did you think that was going to be like that?
I would say no, but at the same time, I think the more we spoke, it just felt like we'd known each other for the longest time, and there was I didn't have any hesitations.
Right.
I malfunctioned the day he asked me to be his girlfriend. That was like the one thing that took me by surprise.
The girlfriend part.
Yes. Because and that one I didn't even like, it hit me so hard. I was like, what is happening? Because I'm not really someone that like I get all like shocked and surprised and all the things, but it was just I realized there'd been a lot of I'd gotten so used to chaos when it comes to relationships. That he was so stable that there was a part of me that was like, oh my God, this is it. And I think that freaked me out. And I didn't even realize that's what was happening, because the last time I'd been in a relationship, that even that one had question mark, was 2016, right? That's the last time someone officially asked me, will you be my girlfriend? And since then it's been like, talking stages or situations, or someone's interested, or it's like we are dating, but there was no official asking. You know, those kind of all like just messy situations. And he was just doing everything literally intentionally. So and even the day he asked me to be his girlfriend, like he had a video shoot I went to the video shoot and I showed out that day. That one I can say with my chest. I was wardrobe, everything, design,
everything.
everything. Which I was really happy about because I was happy that the first music thing that we ever did together was him and not me. Because I didn't want it to be like all about Niiella because of who I am. And I wanted him to see as well that when it comes to anything that's to do with him, like I will show out.
I'm gonna support you.
Yes,
I'll
go all out.
That's important. So, and I'm sure that did a lot for him as well. Yeah. For like assurance.
Yeah. So when we got back, he was like, I don't know why I'm doing this now, but I just feel like I should. Mm-hmm. It was so early. We hadn't gone on. I just got back from the UK, so we'd just been talking, right? And then he was like, he was like, oh, he kind of started. He was like, he said my full name, Niiella. No, not my surname. He just said, oh, Niiella. And then I was like,
how can I help you?
Yes. And then he paused. The pause was so long. I opened the door. I said, if you will not talk, I'm going. Yeah. And then he was like, oh, no, stop, close the door. Please. Okay, fine. I closed the door now. And then he was like, I don't know why I'm doing this now, but I feel that this is the right time that I should do this. And he was like, will you be my girlfriend? And then I was like, can I get back to you? And it wasn't the most like funny, so he just kind of looked at me. I was like, okay, like take all the time you need.
Sure.
I think he even said like, oh, however long you need, like even a month. And I said, whoa, month? Can you imagine? In my brain, it's like alarm bells are doing, like it's going off. I'm panicking and everything. But even in the midst of that, he says to me, month. I look at him like, what the heck?
Like, what are you saying?
Everything's just a mess. So he still walks me to my room, and he had even bought a gift and everything. So he put it in the wardrobe and was like, "Don't open it until I leave." And then once he leaves and closes the door, I sit on the floor. I'm like, like just panicking.
Literally.
Wow.
But it was that day. I went into the shower and I was just there like, God, I don't know what to do. If I should say yes or no, like I'm just saying it. And I felt God say to me, have you not been praying straight? That's right. For like one of the things that I was inspired to write on my I had daily declarations, right? That I'd been doing for, I think altogether it was about a year and some, but I don't know how long I was in, like how far I was in. I was reading my word, I was praying and everything, just being consistent. And one of the things that I would say all the time is like supernatural speed, and my husband's going to come really quickly, and like it's not going to take time. Like I wrote all the things, right? And as I'm there in the shower, like, oh God, everything. It's like, God is like, have you not been saying this every single day? Like, I feel like you're asking me really stupid questions right now.
So
and I was, the tears, and I said, why are you talking to me like that? You're not supposed to talk. I was like, you're not supposed to talk to me like that. You're supposed to be nice. So at that point, I'm done. The prayer is finished because clearly no one's listening. And then
the person is you. You're the person not listening.
Neither is he. He's also not listening to my I'm having a stop moment. He's not listening to it. So I come out and I say to myself, okay, cool, no problem. I'm going to say yes. But I can always say no. I'm not like, it's not a prison, is it?
Yeah.
That sounds logical.
Yeah.
Nope. In that moment, I felt God say to me so harshly, if that's the foolish mindset you're going to go into this relationship with, you leave that man alone. I said,
so it's you. Get away from him.
You know what that did for me in that moment? I was like, wow, God is going to stand up for him like that. He must be a real one.
I know that's right.
Period.
That's I was like,
literally. He's like, oh, that's one of his favorites.
Right.
Said, oh. That's one of God's favorites.
In that moment, I knew I was going to say yes. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Good, like this
whatever this panic attack is over. But then the following day, I got like the longest paragraph from my mom, basically saying, be careful. The man can be gentle, he can be kind, he can be soft. I said, just write Nana's name there, right?
Just write Nana.
But only the Spirit of God knows the heart of a man. Like it was the most fear-mongering text.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's the enemy.
And I spiraled again, right? And then that day, me and my mom had to have a conversation where she was like, sometimes I'm just scared that I want you to end up in a good relationship. But in that moment, it was like the fear was causing me to spiral. I was like, I know it's coming from a good place, but there's too much fear attached to this. Yeah. And it's like, it's making me just almost want to retreat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I realized, it made me even trust Nana more because I realized that the timing of when if he had asked me after that message came from my mom, I don't think I would have said yes.
I agree.
Because it didn't make sense to me. Why are you asking me now in the car? We just got back from one street. It's so late. Like, it was a very unromantic setting, whereas he's a very romantic person. So,
and I think that's so, and I'm glad that you're talking about like all the emotions that you went through, and that you didn't just fall into it head first, because that's something that scares me. Like, when I hear about short courtships, I'm like,
let me tell you, this one right here,
it scares me. But to know that you did work through all those feelings, and you weren't, 100%. It wasn't just a free falling.
I love this man.
Yeah, I honeymoon period. Because
I feel like it's actually happened the other way around.
Yeah,
where like we worked through all the. Even when we first started talking, I was in the UK. At one point, I was not asking myself, "Is this shorter than me?" Listen, guys. Yeah. Sometimes like I felt like even the things. I don't necessarily I wouldn't say that I have a list, right? Obviously, I have standards,
right?
Of course,
standards,
which is fair. I don't,
everyone should.
I just want to throw in there that I actually dated a guy that was this. If you ask me spec, I would write that guy's everything about him was like perfect. That guy dragged me through the mud. After him, I was delivered from spec. I was delivered. I said, God, whatever for me, it's okay. It's for me.
And God did the text. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let me what her spec will do.
So it's not like I had a list per se, but all of a sudden these things just started coming back. Like, it was like, oh, maybe he's too short. But we spoke. He said he's 5. He's taller than me. Yeah, I'm not tall.
That's fine.
You know? And then what else did I start freaking out about? I don't remember right now, but there was just things that like they were just blowing up in my head. And I realized that like the devil was literally using the those things that I like to potentially prevent me from actually saying yes to this person.
From having what
because he knows, but I mean, obviously, because he knows what it's built on and what it can do for the kingdom.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So even friendships, like a friend of mine joking and saying, Niiella, he's short, you don't have short kids. All of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, what? Yeah, it was just, so even those things, like that's what I'm saying. If I hadn't been in this consistent place of prayer and reading my word and stuff, like the Holy Spirit was pulling me up on so many things, but it was all happening very quickly. Yeah. You know, it was like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you over there? And I'm like, I never knew I had a problem. What do you mean?
Like, cleaning you out.
Oh, and then something else will happen, and then the Holy Spirit's like, we need to sort that out. And I'm like, man, you know, so it was just all happening very, very quickly. Yeah. And then by the time I came, he asked me, and then we went on our official date. So it was probably like Wednesday. Thursday, I knew I was going to say yes. That's my mom sends the text, have a conversation with her. Then I realized, I was like, that didn't make sense. Then, I was like, why did you send me that? And she was like, oh, I just want you to be good and blah, blah, blah.
Our mother means well.
Said, if God gave you a word, what was the specific word God gave you for me? Like, don't try to understand it for me, because you don't know all the things that are happening with me.
And then they now insert their own fears.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of stuff. I understand. My mom and my dad's relationship has been rocky, and we've also witnessed a lot of rocky marriages, and we've seen how there's a lot of gospel artists, they got married and their whole career just went down because of the person they married or the amount of care, you know. So she's coming from that angle, but you can't trust God with all that baggage. It's just not possible. So, so I'm like, what's the specific word God gave to you? And she says, oh, you know, it's just to pray for a man who is loyal. And I says, oh,
that's it?
How did we get this from that?
It's not competing.
That's when it was, I was like, forget, let me say yes to my husband.
Like you put your own stuff in there.
Went on official date on the Friday. It was great. We went for like a sip and paint thing. We painted. We were painting. Painting. Yeah, so we painted, and then he liked to do lots of surprises. He'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna do something else after," but you know, I'm not gonna tell you what it is. But we went on the DC Harbor thing.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, we went on that. And then he took me back home. Like, it was a chill.
End of the story. And that was it. That was it.
Cool. You know. After that, I knew inside. I knew like there was actually a part of me, even before I came from the UK, that was like, I genuinely love everything about him. But I wasn't about to open my mouth and say that out loud because I was like, what do you mean?
So you want me to say it first?
Like I already sent the DM.
What else you want from me?
Right. Did my part.
So I refused to say it.
But you knew.
I knew.
You knew.
He the things that he would do, like he would pray with me. There was no awkwardness. There was no shyness. Even like I would have conversations. I just bring up like just topics like sex, just to see is he gonna start doing that like shy cringe,
like retreat.
Because I feel like if you can't talk about those things, like there's a healthy way to talk about sex even before. You know, some people refuse. Like, oh no, we can't.
Let's wait.
You know, but I'm like, don't surprise me when we enter this marriage.
I don't want to be shocked.
We're gonna get there. You're gonna surprise me.
I don't want to be surprised.
I will run away.
Please don't surprise me.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that he could talk about anything and everything, and even if it was new for him, he was just open to just learn. You know, and I think that's just amazing quality about him as well, and just also knowing the personality that I am as well. I feel like he does well.
so it sounds like you guys have a strong friendship.
Definitely.
Right? Undercurrent, supporting your marriage.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is? How important has that been for you guys?
I would say it's like one of the most important things. Like, you have to be friends with this person. Like, every day is not like a romantic day, but every day I'm with my friend. You know, so some days are more romantic, some days are more intimate, other days is just we're in there just doing laundry and trying to survive.
That's it.
Just trying to survive, trying to get through work, and all the things. But like, if you actually like the person, it helps a great deal.
It does. Yeah, it makes the day go by faster. It does. That's good. And so, obviously, at least from what we're hearing, I'm hearing nothing but intentionality, I think, from Onana's part as well as yours. I think your part kind of working on yourself and doing the needful individually. How do you feel like that directed maybe like some of the questions that you guys asked each other and things like that?
I'm glad you guys actually have these questions, because we did a lot of. I haven't done these ones.
These are married.
Okay.
We have dating.
But we did. He bought a lot of the couple cards and stuff, and we still have like a bunch of them.
Really?
But yeah, we did a lot of those. So we asked each other so many questions. Even the day that we went to Philly for his video shoot, it was like a whole 2-hour drive, and we asked each other questions the whole time. Because we just realized sometimes you just don't think to ask certain questions. Like, it just escapes you.
I mean, you just don't. Like, nobody just sits there just asking like a list of questions. You have to be intentional about it.
Yeah. So that helped a lot. To ask questions that we wouldn't naturally ask each other, and just kind of see how the other person's mind like functions, how like the things that they would when people answer questions, you see where their mind goes first. Like, it's just interesting.
Like, okay,
and
thought of that first. And
the thing about questions that I always say, like with my friends that are dating and things, it's like when you ask the questions, the person can literally say anything, right? Like, it don't have to be what they would actually do, especially when you ask like theoretical, like, what if this happens? What would you do?
Right.
But it's like, you now listen to the answers, and then you now match it with their character, right? And the thing that they're doing and the output that you see. It's like, okay, from what I see, what he's saying actually does line up. Or it's like, girl, you kind of...
You don't do none of that. Why you answer like that? You don't even talk.
The answer sounds nice.
It's like there's also wisdom that you need, and you need to ask God for when you're doing these things, and the discernment, because it's like this person can sit here and paint this amazing, and that's one of the reasons that scared me about short courtship, is that the person can actually paint a picture of themselves and present like an avatar of who they actually are, and it's not until life starts blowing. And then you start to that person starts to now unfold, and the layers start to fall off.
I think there's two things that also helped with that, besides asking each other questions. And one of the things I would say is, I personally have learned to listen to what people say even if they don't say it. So I watch people's like characters, the things that they do consistently.
How they treat others.
Yes, 100%. And then another thing that I realized helped a lot was the community that was around us. So my friends, I used to be such a loner, Really? I was happy to be there. I was happy to be alone.
Doesn't seem like it at all.
And then over time, God brought me like solid sisters, right? That will look for me and be like, that's nonsense. And from a godly perspective, right? It's not like forced, but all of our conversations, when you every time you speak to someone, you leave with something. It doesn't mean we're being like, every conversation is like, we are like, in the clouds. But it's very healthy. We are all pursuing God together. And so God is able to move in those friendships to even speak to us in those moments.
Different ways.
And so having those people around, usually I would hide my relationships. 'Cause I wouldn't want people in my business. That's my thing. I don't want people in my business. Sure. But I realized, wait, there's layers to this. The closest people to me who I trust, if I don't trust them even with a relationship, they shouldn't be here. Correct. Right? Which is true. So there was that. But I'm like, no, I'm going to allow these people in to see for what I can't see. Because we all know when you like someone, you just become a bit,
the blonde has come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
love. Oh, yeah.
that community helped. Eventually, when I told the pastors, Pastor Vic and Ambi, like they also were like, it was like everyone had a good react. This has never happened before. Even when my mom, I didn't want to tell my mom about him initially because my mom would come and be like, if my mom does this, the thing doesn't work. The thing doesn't work. She'll now say, I had a dream. The person's heart was. I was like, oh Lord. Sounds like I won't listen to you. I won't listen to you. The thing will crumble anyway. Yeah. Doesn't matter if I listen or not. Yeah. So I didn't want her to meet him, but one of the things my mom said when she met him, she was like, yeah, it's not like the guys you usually date. So this one I know is God. I was like,
okay, thanks, Mom.
Chill out, bro.
All right, Mom, thanks.
But yeah, everyone's reaction. I just watched all the friendship circles, the musicians he usually rolls. Everyone was just like, top guy. Like he is who he is. Yeah. You see what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Kind of aligns with everything else that I feel, that I see, that so that also made it, easier. Yeah.
So you brought up the point of your mom saying that he's not like the other guys used to date. And so one of the reasons you're here is because we want to like inspire women our age to kind of know like it is possible to do this thing. It's possible to have faith in God and God will send you the right person for you. So what was your dating like? Like, I know you said you didn't have you were single for a long time, but it's like what do you feel? What were you looking for at first? Like, because you kind of talked about the spec. Were you focused more on physical? Were you like what do you feel was that big shift?
I think what I would usually I think what I would usually go for was, because I'm goofy, I would kind of gravitate towards other people with like big characters. When I like in my like the latter part of my teens, I would go for like the goofy. I'd go for, even back then, like back in London, I'd go for like the roadman. Do you know what I mean?
The roadman them.
the one that all the girls are looking at. Don't go for that guy. Don't do it.
What? Not top boy.
Waste man.
I said, sure, I'm just playing. If God said that one is your own, please go and take it. But I mean, usually, God can do anything.
He can do anything.
But yeah, so that's what I would usually gravitate towards, or like a physical. I just kind of go off like a physical appearance. I'm not gonna lie, I would ignore the signs. In the moment, I would genuinely believe that I didn't see them.
But talk more about that.
Like hindsight,
yes, please, because this is a gem for a girl out there, right? The specs look good, but you ignoring.
We need the signs.
The signs.
How do you navigate the signs?
The importance of the signs, Niiella, please.
I can't stress it enough how important these signs are. There was this one guy, the stuff my mom says, which sometimes I'm like, it sounds so judgmental, right? But so far, I've not failed. So, right, my mom would say, a guy that likes themselves too much, be careful. And I'll be like, what like themselves? Like, what if they want to just look, they want to look clean and whatnot. Yeah. There was a guy that I dated. I promise you this guy spent more time in the mirror than me, right? And he was just quite, like, full of himself. But because he was so good looking,
he was fine.
He was like, it was okay. It's okay.
He needs to take time.
The mirror time paid off.
We need him to continue to be cleaning up this way, But honestly, he was so full of himself that it was like, I can get any girl.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, it's not even me trying to stereotype him or put him in a, I didn't want to believe that was the case. But even on the day when this guy's wedding was announced at church, people start coming out the woodworks like, hold on a minute, that's my man. That's my man. I thought he was my man. So, just don't ignore the signs. If somebody, and sometimes just the way that he would speak, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't kind.
We talked about this. Like, there's a difference between being like kind. Like, kind is like character.
Yeah, like you're taking me into consideration when you're speaking, even if you don't like something.
Yes.
there's a way you can deliver it. There's a way you can say it and stuff. And even if sometimes, like, some people are we're a bit hot-headed. So maybe in the moment you say it away, but then you come back to be like,
yeah,
I
nah.
shouldn't have said it that way.
Yeah, but there wasn't any of that. It was just like, I'm just sharing my opinion.
Yeah.
This is how. Yeah,
there's always
there's still a way to do that.
There's always signs.
Signs.
There's always every
and it's like, and I feel like when you're in that season of like just the physical attraction, or even just like I like him, I like that he's showing me attention. It's like you detach yourself from yourself.
Right.
Like this doesn't feel good, but I'm gonna stay here because that feels good, or I'm gonna focus on what feels good and ignore the things that don't.
That's another thing that sometimes I even tell some of my friends that if you flipped it and I was in this, if you're the one looking and I was in this relationship with this person,
like it from me?
What would you tell me?
What would you tell me?
Take all of that. Don't cover it with your
no.
Don't do that.
No.
Just take it as like black and white.
See what it is.
Take it as it is and apply that, because that will
Absolutely.
usually save you.
Yeah.
And I think one of the last things I also want to say was, whatever you want to see in the marriage, do it early. If you want the person to give you more like gifts or whatever, if you want them to be more affectionate, even if it's like it's awkward, maybe your family, no one says I love you, right?
Yeah, but you want that.
But you want that sort of affection and stuff. Do it early, because it's easier to do it when you're in that like cloud.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
the rainbow
forming
stage.
the forming stage.
So
The honeymoon stage.
if you want to build communication, like intentionally sit down and talk about stuff.
Absolutely.
In the beginning, because now I know couples that have been together for 10 years and all this stuff, and you try to get them to do stuff like that now, and it's just that everyone's like feeling shy. I'm like,
What shy with somebody you've been with 10 years?
yeah, but
it's true.
the easiest place to do it is right at the beginning. So whatever you want to see later, do it over and overboard. Because sometimes when you get married, you're too busy to do those things. But at least if you created, like you built the muscle,
Create the culture.
it will. Yes, it's not weird for me to tell Nana that, can we have a check-in? Can we sit down? Can we talk about something? Can we, so all those things. I was very intentional. We were both very intentional to just cultivate all of those patterns before we, got to.
And I think that's a great point to, as someone who is just beginning your marriage journey, you can create the culture you want in your home.
100%.
Like you are fully,
it's like a blank sheet.
Responsible. Yeah. Exactly. You can paint whatever you want. You can make it look, and that goes both ways. If you want, if you're putting in negativity and fighting and cursing, that is the culture you're creating in your home. And so you can't be surprised when someone is now cursing at you when you also when you started the cursing. Yeah. So on the positive side, I love that you're starting those check-ins, because like you said, when things start to get shaky, it's not going to be, can we just talk? It's like, no, that's what we always do.
It's a normal thing.
It's a normal thing.
Not panicking like, hey, what are you coming
for?
What you want to talk about?
Why are you talking to me? But it's, you create that culture. So I love that. I actually really love that you guys are doing that. I think that's amazing.
And I know you said you talked about this here, but I know it was something we saw you posted online about, like, you were protecting your relationship at first, which I think was healthy, right? Yeah. And it could be for different reasons, right? But now that you're married, now that everybody know Nana, like, how comfortable now, and that, you said that you guys did a YouTube together, like, what protection around your marriage do you feel like is good for you or healthy for you now?
That's a really good question. I think, I don't think I've ever thought about that. That question has kind of made me like, that's very interesting. So I think because we kind of got to know each other outside, like we had a very small knit community when we were in the dating stage and even the courtship and everything, even up until after we got married, then we put it out that, by the way, guys, married.
By the way.
No engagement photo, no nothing, just married. I think because we kind of started off in that small community, I think it just kind of continued, like it just rolled over. So like my girls are really cool with him, his boys are really cool with me. We're just really cool in that sense. But then maybe it's also the way I am. I'm very like open, but I'm also very guarded at the same time.
Which is, I think that's healthy.
Right? And so I feel like with our marriage as well, we're very open, but we're also very like
There's things you
yeah,
probably
it's
want to
balance.
know.
It's just
but
not. Yeah, it's just not every and anything that we're gonna do. It's just not
course.
anywhere that we're gonna go. Like we're just I
Yeah.
feel like we just kind of take it one day at a time in that sense and let God lead us. And then even with the whole like some people are like create a couple's YouTube. I was like he's a guest.
This ain't permanent. It's
For
sometimes.
the most part, you just see
He's
me.
a guest.
But he's a guest. But it's
Yeah.
just a natural progression. Like if I'm talking about something and I feel like, oh no, I feel like you'll be able to talk on this. I'll bring him
Pull
on.
him
Yeah.
But this is not, and now we have to now force to be giving you content together because
Yeah, no, it's too much pressure.
you know.
Too much pressure.
So in that sense, it's like and he hasn't even been in front of the camera too much.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like a bit more
Getting
like
used to it.
Yeah, we told Anna he's coming on the podcast next, so there's both of y'all. So
yeah. So he even watched himself back like, oh, why am I so quiet?
Ask yourself.
this is
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I've not answered it properly, but
No,
I know you did. And, and ultimately, I think that, as we're wrapping up the episode, I think that we really just want to leave people with the idea that, in the preparation in yourself, because I feel like that was something that you talked about a lot, that things can happen, but then also the intentionality that comes with, being aligned. I heard the values were super important. His intentionality, his character. So like somebody having a short courtship, it's sometimes you're not always able to see the cracks or because you're not put in certain situations, right? But what I heard was that he was consistent across the board. Friends said the same thing. Your friend said the same thing. His friend said the same thing. And so you were able to see that like his character remained like steady and it didn't waver. But what would you kind of tell viewers or a girl or a guy sitting out there not knowing if this is the right thing or the next step? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to get closer to God.
Yeah.
God sees everything. Yeah. So if you're not sure, God is sure. Yeah. And if something feels off, God is probably telling you that it's off. Or maybe there's something in yourself that's fighting a good thing. But how would you know if the Holy Spirit doesn't reveal that to you? And I remember going to this one service and I think the pastor was saying, we like to, God is, try three parts. We like to, Jesus, Father, God, like those aspects of God we kind of go to a lot, but we don't utilize the fullness of the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit is the counselor. Counsel literally means we're sitting down having a conversation, right? And I'm being advised and, like giving me like tips and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like that's a guide. That's like,
that's the aspect of God that's going to do daily.
Correct. Yes.
The daily walk with us is the Holy Spirit. Of course, God is everywhere. Yeah. But one thing that I also had to learn very like in that season was engaging the Holy Spirit and just asking the Holy Spirit to show me certain things and listen, you give the Holy Spirit free range. You will even show you things you didn't ask for.
Why did they be like, please, that's enough. That's
a lot of information, sir. I don't know why you're telling me that, but yeah. So
go easy on me.
So that's what I would say. If you're not sure, don't focus so much on the person, on the I just want to be in a marriage. I want to be in a relationship. Like focus on God. I know it might sound cliche and all, but God knows. God knows what our futures are meant to be. Yeah. He knows what our destiny is. He knows what our purpose is. I'm literally with someone who like compliments me in every way, from the music to the things that I want to do to the content and stuff. Sometimes he's like, "Oh, did you post?" I'm like, "Hey, he's more like excited about the content, more excited about the music and stuff. Sometimes even more than me,
That's good to have a cheerleader.
It's a good thing, he compliments me in all the ways. I genuinely would not have picked him for myself. Yeah. And I'd also told God that I'm a dreamer. I dream all sorts. So usually relationships, I'll dream left, right, center, up, down. But this, I was so tired, exhausted of dreaming. I said, God, I don't want to dream anymore. I want the next person that comes to be even more sure about me than I am about them. Period. And so I realized I had a dream. Yeah. And long story short, if you watch How We Met, I end up talking about the dream. But long story short, I had a suitcase. There was 2 pairs of shoes. I wanted to wear the first pair of shoes, but they were dirty, but they were mine. Yeah. Second pair of shoes were clean, but they were not my first choice, right? And so in the dream, he was waiting for me with my brother David, and actually the 2 of them are like this. And so
shout out to David.
Wagwan. And so and so in the dream, I had to wear the clean second pair of shoes that I wouldn't have picked for myself. Wow. But this is a dream that I had when I was in the talking stage with somebody else. That's crazy. And God was showing me options in the dream. you know, but because I told God I don't want to dream anymore, he was like, oh, no problem. I can do this backwards. I said you the dream then.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, so when we started talking and all of that the dream came back to me.
She
and I was like, oh, you think you're slick? He is slick, but jeez.
No, a dream? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I actually wore white Converses for my wedding.
I know.
Yeah. So he pointed that out to me recently. I didn't realize. I was like,
amazing.
lol. So yeah, God was definitely in.
Nieella's on her mind. Lol.
Yeah, so God was in all of it.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. You know, we want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know, your story is amazing. Congratulations on all the things.
Thank you. Thank you.
The engagement, the courtship, the wedding, the soon to be, whenever that happens. Because we don't know when the podcast episode is going to drop, but
Oh, okay.
they might still be here.
Congratulations.
Already.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yes, thank you so much, Niiella. You know, it's a blessing to have people who are just open, like you said, guarded but open and willing to kind of share their story to be a blessing to someone else. So we want to thank you guys. If you tuned in to that whole episode, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to tag all of Nieella's information so you know where to find her. Where can they find you on Instagram at least though?
Niiella_official.
Yes. And so
With
follow
two
her
eyes.
with 2 eyes. 2 eyes.
That's not
and
gonna
so
find you.
She said that's why I couldn't find you.
Lord Jesus, did you have to say that? But anyway, this has been another episode of Chats from the Peak. Bye.